Andrew, there's so many alien stories to tell and only so little time to tell them, so let's just get started. Welcome to another episode of Mostly True Alien Stories.
They're coming!
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects.
In Mexico pulling back the curtain. We need to save ourselves.
Welcome, everybody, to Mostly True Alien Stories. You know, this is the podcast where we dig into some of the wildest alien encounters ever reported, and we ask the big question, is this mostly true or not? I'm Neil Girandola, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Andrew Triana. Hey, Andrew.
Hi, Neil.
I love the way you said that. I don't know if you mean that.
Okay, wait. Hey, Neil.
That's better. That's more like we're at a bar.
You want a drink?
No, after the show.
Okay.
Today, Andrew, is a weird story.
Really?
And I know I say that a lot, but this one, it's really got me a little shook, I don't know what to think about it, but it's about a Wyoming hunter that goes into the woods. He's looking for elk, and instead he finds himself face to face with a 6-foot-tall alien, no collarbones, got a floating cube, and he takes a trip through space and time.
Man, that sounds like a fun time.
And as we do on every episode, of course, I'll lay out the story exactly as it was reported. And then you and I will weigh in. And was this guy actually abducted? Well, we'll go through all the facts and we'll decide whether it's mostly true or not. And of course, we want to hear from our listeners. So you guys have to drop your thoughts into the comments as well. So let us know if you think this one is mostly true or just mostly something else. But before we get into today's story, Andrew, let's check in with you for the latest in alien news and entertainment. What's going on in the world of UFOs, government cover-ups, and celebrity close encounters? Andrew?
Okay, so let's see here. Just in February 19th, 2025, an airport in Turkey was thrown into chaos last night after pilots reported an unidentified illuminated object in the sky.
When was this?
This was on February the 19th, just recently.
That's a couple days
Flights
ago.
at the Gaziantep airport were suspended for about an hour as a precautionary measure after the mysterious sighting. Around 10 p.m. on actually February 18th, because the report came out on the 19th, pilots spotted an unidentified object at the altitude of approximately 10,000 feet.
So it was low.
I mean, that's like takeoff level.
Yeah, and it's flying over the airport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. They reported the situation to control tower, according to the local news reports. Despite the object not appearing on radar, it was speculated that it could have been an unauthorized drone.
Well,
After thorough investigations by security units, it was concluded that the object seen by the pilots could, notice I'm going to stress the word could, have been a drone being flown without permission. Normal service resumed around 11 p.m. An aircraft once again was permitted to take off and land.
All right. So were they saying how it was flying? Was it like stopping and then going? And was it, how they explain the UFOs that have this unbelievable, propulsion and, this sort of, you can tell that it's not of our Earth technology. What did they say? How did they say it was flying?
They don't really talk about how it was flying. It was mostly hovering is what I'm getting. And then it darted off.
Yeah, but if you see a drone hovering, it's a drone.
True.
So
True.
If I'm not hearing reports from this airport in Turkey that it hovered, then took off like a bat out of hell, and then came back, the propulsion on it was unlike anything that we can create.
Right.
Then it was a drone. Why don't the airports, why aren't we able to detect whether it's drones or not? Why isn't that a possibility anymore?
I think because drones don't appear on radar.
They really don't? Why?
Really sure. It might be what they're composed of or what they're made of. I'll have to do some research on that.
Yeah, we should look into that because you would think now with all these issues with the drones that they're going to either enact some sort of standard that all drones have something in them that you have to be able to track.
Like a drone identification card?
Oh my God. You're so brilliant.
So when it comes up on the radar, it says, oh, that's drone number 15679.
You know what I mean? Something along those lines.
Something
I think
that
there
can
should
say,
be
right.
something.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't be the only two brilliant guys in aviation right now coming up with this idea. It's got to be out there. What else do you have?
I found this one kind of interesting. It said this expert says Trump's declassification could expose possible cover-up spanning decades. We had reported earlier about the declassification group that has been formed,
Yeah,
right?
so they're going to
talk about all
declassify, and
that.
they're going to the JFK. They're going to
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
Epstein list. They're going to talk, and then the UFO,
UFOs.
Yep, and all of that. So,
UAPs and
the UAPs.
USOs. That's where we first learned about the USOs. Yeah.
Is this what this story is referring to? Just the alien nature of the uncover?
Yes, this is just the alien nature. So it says the government for decades has investigated UFOs. I think it's undeniable that the government has looked at this for decades. They've had multiple programs. Former UK Defense Ministry official and UFO expert Nick Pope. He said a lot of people believe that there is a smoking gun somewhere in the files. It's very widely held belief that elements in the U.S. intelligence community know that some of this is extraterrestrial and have documents and files relating to this. And that, of course, is what everyone wants to know.
Wait, who is Nick Pope? What does he do?
He was the former UK Defense Ministry official.
I mean, why is he commenting on this?
Because he's trying to help, man. You know, they're trying to unite.
Yeah, they're trying to unite. That's great. I get it. And I think disclosure is important. I've said that all the time. I don't, even though they use the word disclosure and start a disclosure group, I think there are levels of disclosure regardless. They're making us feel good by saying we are going to disclose all of this information, but I still think that it's just to make us calm down a little bit about everything. And then whatever they tell us, they think that now they were going to want us to believe that that's everything. You know what I mean? So there is going to be disclosure, and I think we'll get a little more information, but I don't believe we're going to get all the
Pope also said this, which I found was interesting. He said that shared some of the intel in the files could hold information about real threats to our country. It's definitely a threat or potential threat, particularly because the pilots, the radar operators, the intelligence community personnel who've looked at some of these cases consistently say that things are displaying speeds, maneuvers, and acceleration that make the best of our aircraft look like kids' toys.
Yeah, well, we've known that for some time, and that is where I think the threat is in collision or in accidents and things like that. I think if they were going to do something to us with that technology, it would have happened already.
They're just observing. They're checking us out. They want to be with us. Possibly. They want to help us. I mean, they do want us to clean the planet.
Well, and floss our teeth.
Right. Because that's the first thing I would do. Stupid aliens.
All right. What else?
Okay. This one I found really fascinating. We're going to stick on the UFO theme right now.
Well, it is an alien podcast.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's all we talk about is alien stuff.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I got more stuff then. This
all
is
right,
perfect.
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
is
Let's
perfect.
hear it.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Forbes magazine. UFO tourism is booming with these 15 hotspots to visit around the world.
Oh, they got some hotspots for UFO stuff?
Baby. Yeah. A new report details that a number of sightings of unidentified anomalous phenomena is increasing as enthusiasts are searching for a chance to connect with the outrageous mysteries of the universe. That's right.
Like where?
California. The annual Contact in the Desert event that takes place the last week of May in Joshua Tree
we're going.
is touted as the world's largest UFO and UAP conference. Okay, so they're dedicated to exploring the frontiers of knowledge in UAP, artificial intelligence, and the future of technology and space travel, non-human intelligence, spirituality, health, and wellness. Speakers this year include television adventurer Josh Gates.
Okay.
Other place that's hot? China.
Wait. You're moving on from that?
I'm moving on from that. Yeah, I got 15 hotspots to talk about, man.
Maybe we don't do all 15. Why don't you just give me 3 of your favorites on this list?
Okay. All right. Colorado.
What's happening there?
There's a UFO in the Rendlesham Forest. There's a thing called
the Rendlesham. Yeah, the Rendlesham incident. We're going to talk about that.
UFO Trail. The UFO Watchtower in Colorado's most unique roadside attraction invites extraterrestrial seekers and aficionados to the Watchtower for a chance to spot an alien or UFO for themselves. The location has hosted numerous UFO sightings over the years, which could be possible thanks to the vast and unfiltered views of the night sky.
I wonder if they have, like, when the tours go out to there, if, like, they have, like, some high school kid throws on an alien suit and goes running through the woods, and everybody's like, oh, there's an alien.
So they have probably different levels of tours, and I think
Yeah.
that's probably like top-notch level.
Yeah.
That's
It's
something
like-
that you and I could never afford.
Yeah, it's like going on safari. They're going to take you out to the lions and the elephants,
Yeah.
or do you want to see the giraffes and the rhino?
True.
You know, I used to be a tour guide at
What?
Six Flags Great Adventure for the
Yeah.
safari. They used to have the bus that would everybody get on, sort of open thing, and you drive through, and then I would be up front with the microphone, and to your left are the zebras, and to your right are the giraffes, and over here are the Bengal tigers, and we go through this and go through the tour. But in the spring when they open, it's mating season. And so everywhere we went, you look to the left, and I mean, they're mounted. I mean, it is full on, round, ticket down, everywhere you looked. There was one day I was just like, parents are like looking at me horrified, like it's my fault. These animals are all having sex. And I would just be really quick, brief about it, Oh, and over to the right, okay, they're having sex. Over to the left, let's look away. There was one of those tours in spring. You didn't want to go through the safari unless you're into that.
It's natural, man. They're animals.
It is natural, Andrew.
They
You're
just want to
absolutely
do
right.
it. I mean, why are we judging? Right? Why are we judging?
I don't think I was judging. I'm just saying
They
that,
were judging. They were judging.
here
which
these
is not
parents
cool.
are bringing their kids on a safari to learn about animals, and then it just
I don't-
turns R-rated real quick.
Okay, so the last place is Chile.
Okay.
There is the Atacama, Chile. There's a Mars-like landscape gives way to the Atacama Giant.
It's like a Mars-like landscape. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's what they're describing
What-
it as. It says there's a massive alien-looking prehistoric artwork that stands 30 feet longer than a football field and is 390 feet tall.
Wow.
With more than 5,000 geoglyphs in the area, ancient astronaut theorists believe it was meant to signal extraterrestrial visitors, similar to the marks
how
on a
old is it?
runway. Prehistoric.
What's prehistoric?
Dinosaurs?
No, I know, but like
They don't give a date. I don't think they've carbon dated it.
it's
didn't.
prehistoric.
It's prehistoric. Yeah.
Been there
A long
since
time.
prehistoric times.
Yeah, before you and I.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's it look like?
It looks like a giant. It's really kind of weird looking. It
Like
looks
a person?
no, it's got like a square head,
Yeah.
and a square rectangular body with legs, and then it has these arms shooting out.
Okay.
But the fact that it's 30 feet longer than a football field,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
big.
100 yards plus 30 more feet,
Yeah, that's big.
and is 390 feet tall, which I don't understand what that means, but I'm looking at a photo of it right here. It looks pretty cool. It says that the National UFO Trail was created in San Clemente, Chile, leading to a unique formation known as El Enriado. There are 233 massive megaliths weighing 10 tons apiece, which are
Wow.
erected like giant platforms in ancient times. Following a significant increase in the sightings in 1997, they have a study of anomalous aerial phenomenons that was created in 97, and it's the official body of the General Directorate of Civil Aeronautics, DGAC, studies anomalous aerial phenomenon in the Chilean airspace.
Nice.
So,
So
yeah, Chile.
that's somewhere we can go visit.
Yes, along with going to California to
Does
Joshua
it look
Tree.
like giants built it?
It looks like, like Stonehenge. Like, how did those big stones get out there? It's kind of
Giants.
like that. But they're
Giants.
lined up to create this big alien-looking thing.
All right, so that's just 3 of the spots we can visit. There's 15. Where can
There's
I find
15
this list?
spots. Yeah, maybe we'll just keep adding to the list.
Yeah, you can go check it out.
Check it out. Forbes magazine has it listed. Okay, so celebrities. You ready for your celebrity?
Yes, I want to hear this.
Mick Jagger.
Go, Mick. What you got? What'd you do, Mick?
Mick Jagger is a huge UFO person. He's seen UFOs twice. The first time was in 1968. It was with his girlfriend at the time, Marianne Faithfull. They witnessed a luminous cigar-shaped mothership while camping at Glastonbury in 1968.
Glastonbury's in the UK.
Yeah. Now, here's another one. Another sighting happened in 19...
Did he describe what that looked like?
Cigar-shaped mothership.
Cigar-shaped mothership. What made him think that was not a blimp?
I don't know. The drugs he was on?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
no
thinking.
other description?
No
He
other
doesn't say
description.
it does something?
No, that's all I got. That's all I got. Wait, let me check let me check my other research. Please hold.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can talk amongst
And
yourself.
listeners,
if you want.
for those of you not watching this, Andrew's checking something. I don't
No.
know what he's checking.
Here's here's another article that I printed out. It just says here, spotted a rare cigar-shaped mothership during a UFO skywatch. That's it.
I just don't know what I mean, how does he claim it's a mothership?
Well, here's another thing. Do you know that he has UFO detectors installed in his house?
Wait, what are UFO detectors? What is that? Who has UFO detect? Who knows what a UFO detector is?
Mick Jagger.
I mean, if he has UFO detectors, why doesn't the government have UFO detectors?
Because he's Mick Jagger.
How does Mick Jagger have the only UFO detector in the universe?
Starting it up. If you start him up, he'll never stop.
Come on, Mick. UFO detector. Well, how's that UFO detector work, you think? Like, how does it just, nope, that was a bird. That was a bird. Yep, nope, that's an airplane. Nope, that's a drone. Oh, UFO!
This is what's funny. This is what this article says. It says, after all, who can explain why a UFO detector that Mick Jagger has installed in one of his estates in England kept going off every time he left?
It would go off every time he left?
Every time he left.
So he's an alien.
That's what I was thinking. UFO detectors, which are marketed throughout the world, operate on the principle that flying saucers create an electromagnetic field. The warning alarm is triggered whenever an electromagnetic impulse is detected, indicating that a UFO is in the neighborhood. So were they following Mick?
Yeah, there is UFO detectors. You could buy one for $275 on Amazon right now. There's even a list of the 10 best UFO detectors.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There is the UFO detector, UAP detector. It's got a magnetic field sensor. Then there's the ED UFO LED high bay light with motion sensor. I don't know if that detects shit.
Well,
There's a UFO detector with internal magnetometer interfaced with it.
The second sighting was actually at a concert where both he and Keith Richards saw it. They saw a craft with bright lights flying over the top of their concert in 1969 at the Alamo concert, which is in California. That's all they say. They saw it. So now Keith Richards believes in UFOs as well.
Yeah, the only issue with guys of that level of rock and roll in their blood and the history of what they've been through to get to where they are and the indulging that they've had in their careers.
Are you saying they
when
did
they
drugs?
say they saw UFO, what's the first thing you think of?
They saw a UFO. That's what I think of.
You don't think that
they would never do drugs? No, they're too into their music.
Yes.
They're music purists.
You know what, though? So the only way I would think that I would believe Mick Jagger saw UFO is if I'm standing right next to him and saw it with him. That's all I'm saying.
1969? You would have been high as a kite with Mick. Of course you would have seen it. Yeah.
Well, very interesting, but I don't believe it. But I'm glad what we discovered that I did not know there were UFO detectors.
Yeah.
UAP detectors, and you can buy them on Amazon. $275.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Amazon, today for supplying those to people.
Yeah, you're guaranteed your money back if it does not work and identify UFOs.
Okay, last but certainly not least, I have a movie recommendation. Okay. It took me a while to get into it. It's on Disney Plus and Hulu. It's called No One Will Save You.
No One Will Save You. What is
No
this
One
about?
Will Save You. It stars Caitlin Dever, plays the main character. Her name is Bren, and she's forced in this film to confront a seemingly alien invasion in her home.
And this is on what? Hulu?
This is on Hulu and Disney Plus.
Okay.
Well, they're both kind of the same now. So if you go to Disney Plus, you'll find it. If you go to Hulu, you'll find it. But the movie is really about her and this deep-seated guilt that she's carrying around in her from a traumatic childhood incident.
Okay.
It's actually really kind of a cool movie. The aliens, what I was really disturbing, though, was that they showed the Greys. You know, we talk about the Greys all the time.
Sure.
And how they don't really hurt anybody.
Big-headed.
Right.
Yeah.
These things, man, they were coming at her. It was crazy. They had like levitation powers. They had these different colored lights that would do different things when they would try to get her. I mean, she was completely by herself.
Why were they trying to get her then?
I can't tell you that. You have to watch the movie.
Is that another brilliant plan by the aliens to go find some single lady in the middle of the woods?
To go with them for some reason. They were trying to abduct her and they were doing everything, but she was fighting them. I mean, fighting back against them. But then you find out the reason why they left her and the reason why they were looking for her. You find all that out.
Okay, this is called No One Will Save You.
No One Will Save You.
Okay. On Hulu.
On Hulu, Disney Plus. Entertaining. Very entertaining.
Right.
So,
Well,
and it's rated PG-13, so the kids can watch.
is that all your alien news and entertainment you have
That's
for us?
all I got for
That's
you
it?
today. Yeah.
Well, I think that was great. And I think now that we're caught up on the latest headlines from the cosmic rumor mill of Andrew, it's time to dive into our featured story. And just a quick reminder to our listeners, this is how it works. I tell the full story of a reported alien phenomenon exactly as it was documented, with a few embellishments just for storytelling purposes. And then Andrew and I will break it down and decide if we think it's a mostly true alien story or if there's a little too much, creative storytelling by the person who experienced this. Okay, so let's get into the Carl Higdon abduction. It's a hunting trip to another world. It was October 25th, 1974 in Medicine Bow National Forest in Wyoming. Carl Higdon, he was a man who knew his way around the wild. So he's a man of man. He's at 41 years old. He had spent his life working in the Wyoming oil fields, sort of like landman. He's a tough, no-nonsense guy who loved nothing more than escaping into the vast Medicine Bow National Forest for a quiet day of hunting. That's what he does. On this particular autumn afternoon, the crisp air smelled of pine, the forest was still, and he was all alone, or so he thought. What started as a simple hunting trip quickly spiraled into one of the most bizarre alien abduction cases ever recorded, one that left Higdon speechless, disoriented, and missing time. It was mid-afternoon, Andrew, when Higdon parked his truck near a remote clearing. He slung his brand new .243 Magnum rifle over his shoulder, and he set off on foot in search of elk. He was hunting elk. He was well prepared, his rifle loaded, pockets full of ammunition, the routine of a seasoned hunter, as Higdon was. And after some time, he came upon a group of 5 elk, specifically 5 elk, standing in the open. And an unusual sight, since elk are normally skittish, right? So they're usually just take off.
Yeah.
But these elk, they didn't move. They stood completely still as if frozen in time. So Higdon, the hunter that he is, took aim at the largest elk, because why not? Shoot the largest elk. And steadying his rifle, and he pulls the trigger. And that's when sort of reality shattered for him. Instead of a powerful crack of a rifle shot, the bullet left the barrel in slow motion, and it floated forward at an impossible speed, very slowly, before dropping straight to the ground as if it had hit an invisible wall.
Could it have been the elk that used telepathic powers to stop
And
the
the elk
bullet?
was like, "Don't shoot me."
He was like the Neo Matrix things where he was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
The elk he was saying, "I'm not an elk. Don't shoot.
Please don't kill me.
Confused, Higdon watched the bullet roll to a stop in the dirt. So there he goes. He shoots it. It went out in slow-mo. Everything slowed down. It just seemingly stopped and just dropped to the ground, the bullet. The elk didn't move. Nobody ran. And all of a sudden, Higdon felt a strange presence behind him. And then a force like nothing he had ever experienced.
Excuse me. You're trying to shoot my elk friend. I'm sorry.
Do not shoot my elk friends. These are my friends. Before Higdon could react, a beam of gelatinous light shot toward him. It hit him in the chest, and he froze in place. He was paralyzed. His limbs refused to move. So his mind was racing now. And then he sees, just standing a few feet away, was a being unlike anything he had ever seen. I love when they say that.
Everything. Why is it like it's like I'd never seen it?
If it's the first time you've seen it, it would be unlike anything you've
Anything
ever
you've
seen.
never seen before.
Yeah. I don't understand that description. So what he had seen was this alien by the name of Ausso One. He was described as a humanoid figure standing approximately 6 feet tall. And the being had a square-shaped head with small, deep-set eyes and a slit-like mouth that lacked lips. And notably, Ausso One's head featured stiff, bristle-like hair standing upright. And the being's chin blended seamlessly into its neck. And it lacked visible ears. And additionally, Ausso One's right hand resembled a drill-like appendage.
Probing time.
Yeah. He also wore a black form-fitting one-piece suit similar to a wetsuit. Sounds like a Saturday night, baby.
Sounds like an S&M dream.
Yeah. The suit was adorned with a metallic belt featuring a prominent yellow 6-pointed star. And then this, ensemble to Higdon contributed to the being's distinctive appearance. Now, there has been drawings done of it and renderings and things of this that are out there based off of his description, Higdon's description. Now, during the encounter, Ausso One inquired if Higdon was hungry.
It's like, of course, I'm trying to kill this elk. I'm starving.
It's just a weird question to ask, though.
Are you hungry?
Hi, I'm an alien from another planet. Are you hungry?
Hello, my name is Ausso One. I was just passing by. I was wondering, would you like a mint?
You like spearmint or peppermint?
It's Altoids.
So anyway, he asked if he was hungry. Before Higdon could respond, the being sent a small, clear cellophane package containing 4 pills toward him, floated it towards him. It was in cellophane.
We're going to get messed up. Take one.
What's funny to me is he has a baggie. They
He
have
has a bag
baggies
with cellophane.
Aliens
Yeah.
have baggies
Yeah.
and cellophane.
That's how they carry their
Saran wrap.
cocaine around. It was cocaine.
Wrap it up. Mom, can you wrap up these 4 pills? I'm going to Earth.
Go see Ausso 2 and 3. They'll give you a bag. I gave them bags yesterday. Now leave me alone. I'm busy.
You and your bags.
I'm watching 1974. I'm watching Bonanza.
So he floated these pills towards him in this thing. It was like 4 of them. And Ausso indicated that consuming 1 pill would sustain Higdon for an entire day.
Dang.
And now Higdon says he trusted the being. So he ingested a pill and immediately felt satiated.
How did he ingest it? Did they give him water too, or he just
No, he's just
swallowed
bit
it dry?
Just bit it, swallowed it.
Oh,
He's a
bit
hunter.
it and swallowed.
He's a
Okay,
hunter.
right.
Men just swallow pills without water. Real hunters. You
Okay.
should know this.
I didn't know that. I need to research that.
Yeah. Higdon now, he realizes he's just staring at an alien. He's in an alien situation, right? So now also, when he spoke to him telepathically. That's how he told him his name. Also, he then says according to Higdon, he says, "Do you want to come with me?" But it wasn't like he was asking Higdon for permission. He just simply told him. But he said it like as a question. Do you want to come with me? And before Higdon could even consider this or answer it, he felt himself being pulled forward and the forest around him just sort of blurred. And suddenly he was no longer standing in Wyoming. He's now inside this spacecraft. But this wasn't like a Hollywood-style UFO. Everything around him was sort of transparent. It's as if the walls and floor weren't really there. And he could see the stars outside, the vast emptiness of space stretching out in all directions. And then he noticed something even more disturbing. He wasn't alone on this ship, on this transparent cube of a ship. There were 5 other humans were inside the ship, floating in suspended animation, completely motionless, and their faces were frozen in this expression of terror. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's it. Let me see it again. Uh-huh. That's your terror face? I think my terror face would be like,
No, that's not a terror. That's like something just crawled out of you.
well, let me see yours again.
That would be a terror face. That's not the face I would make for them. For them, I would just go,
Just like that.
just like that. Yeah.
Well, there was also, besides the frozen in terror family on the ship, there was 2 other alien beings.
Just like Ausso 1. Was it Ausso 2 and 3?
Might have been Ozzo's brothers, maybe his family's brothers, maybe it's his gang.
In their scoop suits.
That's right. They were present. And also, the 5 elk were in there as well. So they
It's a petting zoo. It was a
also
petting
just
zoo.
took everybody that was in that scene
Wow.
on a trip.
Interesting.
Took the
Dangerous.
elk, he took the Frozen in Terror family, and he brought along 2 alien beings with him.
Okay. In their transparent cube ship flying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. That's right. So the ship is moving along, right? And they're going somewhere. So Higdon described that this feeling of weightless, as if the ship was moving. Let's just want to talk about how the ship was moving, because he said it was moving at these impossible speeds.
Right.
And then moments later, they arrived at a strange planet. So they literally left Earth, went to this strange planet, and he said it was barren and lifeless, but it had these tall, towering buildings in the distance.
Cool.
Yeah. And upon arrival at the alien planet, Higdon observed these 5 human-like individuals, a middle-aged man, a young girl, 2 teenage girls, and a teenage boy. And they were standing around and conversing near a tower with a flashing light.
Wow.
I don't know if that's the same family, the Frozen in Terror family, but that was on the ship. But he saw this middle-aged man, a young girl, 2 teenage girls, and a teenage boy. And they were just talking.
Wait, and they were like, so what do you guys think? And they were like,
yeah.
Right,
Like,
okay.
yeah.
With their
Someone's
no
looking
necks.
on their phone, scrolling through TikTok.
It's like, really? This is stupid. Take me home.
Jesus. What did he say his name was? Asshole?
Ausso One, come over here. I got something to tell you. I'm very upset.
All right. So here's Higdon in this, new planet, strange planet. He's, still in the ship, I believe. I don't know if they exited. It's not very clear. But anyway, but Ausso One never fully explained where they were. Only that this was their home and that they were studying humans. So he told them all of that. Higdon was then taken into a strange examination room. Though no medical tests were performed, instead the aliens studied him carefully as if they were deciding whether or not he was worth keeping. This is what Higdon said.
Damn.
Yeah. And then, just as suddenly as it all began, it was over. Higdon blacks out, and when he woke up, he was back in Medicine Bow National Forest, standing exactly where he had started. His rifle and gear were missing, but his truck had somehow been moved over 3 miles away and was stuck in a ditch as if it had been dropped from above. So disoriented, confused, and missing several hours of time, he stumbles through the woods until he was found by a search party. When they took him to the hospital, doctors noted something inexplicable. Higdon, who had suffered tuberculosis scars in his lungs for years, was now completely healed. That's what Ausso was up to. After his reported abduction, which was in 1974, in October, he underwent both psychological evaluations and investigative scrutiny to assess the credibility of his experience. To delve deeper into his experience, Higdon sought assistance from a Dr. R. Leo Sprinkle, a psychologist at the University of Wyoming, renowned for his work with individuals reporting UFO encounters. Dr. Sprinkle, I think I would change that name. Dr. Sprinkle, please report to the emergency room. Dr. Sprinkle.
Paging Dr. Sprinkle. Dr. Sprinkle, please come to the operating room for a cupcake abduction.
Yeah. As Sprinkle is renowned for helping people with UFO encounters.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah.
He conducted hypnotic regression sessions with Higdon to recover detailed memories of the event. Though through these sessions, Higdon recounted vivid details of his alleged abduction, including descriptions of the alien being, Ausso One, and the spacecraft. Dr. Sprinkle noted that Higdon exhibited typical signs associated with abduction experiences such as missing time and memory loss. Importantly, Dr. Sprinkle did not find any indications of mental instability or deceit in Higdon's accounts, according to this report. There was an investigation. It attracted attention from various groups, law enforcement, the local authorities near the park, including the Carbon County Sheriff's Office, were involved in the initial response. They found Higdon disoriented and his truck inexplicably stuck in a remote area, far from its original location. These perplexing circumstances added a layer of mystery to his claims. To assess the veracity of his statements, Higdon underwent a polygraph test, and the results indicated no signs of deception. suggesting he genuinely believed in the truth of his experience. And then investigators examined Higdon's rifle, noting that the bullet he fired had inexplicably flattened and lacked rifling marks, an anomaly difficult to explain by conventional means. Additionally, Higdon, who previously had visible scars from a lung condition, was found to be inexplicably healed upon medical examination. So no conclusive evidence was found to either substantiate or debunk Higdon's account. Although I don't know if I think there's some substantiation happening there with what they did reveal with the lie detector test and the finding of the bullet, and those things is all kind of weird stuff, but we'll get into that. So anyway, he would go on to tell his story for decades. He never once changed any details. He didn't want fame. He didn't write a book. I don't think he made any money on it. He just had always looked for answers. I think today he would be 91.
Yeah, he did.
He died.
He died in 2019 or 2020.
Yeah,
he died of COVID, actually. Yeah, he died of COVID. Yeah, COVID pneumonia.
That's right. And there you have it. It's the story of Carl Higdon and the collarboneless alien with a floating cube. So he was hunting. He was hunting elk. He was taken by Ausso One to another planet with the Frozen in Terror family, and they just returned him as if they didn't need him. So it has all the ingredients for a classic abduction story. You got the missing time, the weird technology, strangely specific named alien. So listeners, what do you guys think? But before we get to you guys, let's see what Andrew has to think. If this is a mostly true alien story.
It's my turn.
Go ahead. What do you got?
Okay, so let's give a little bit more on the time. He was abducted around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and then he was returned around 6:30 p.m., but wasn't found by the search party until 11:40 p.m. So there's a lot of time that's happened during this.
Could have been disoriented for a while, wandering.
Yeah, so apparently he didn't remember anything. Like, didn't remember how to drive. He didn't remember anything. So
he didn't even know how to drive?
Didn't even know how to drive. They had to come find him. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So when you were talking about the alien asking if he was hungry, it's pretty funny because he did float those 4 pills over to him. And
according to the story,
Higdon said that he took the pill, didn't want to swallow it. This isn't another story. He didn't want to take it, but felt like he was being forced to take it. So he did. And then Ausso One said, oh, this is going to sustain you. And then he felt, oh, I feel full. Oh, it's like I ate a steak. Right?
Probably prepping him for the travel.
Yes, that's what I was going to think. Ausso One also told him that they were going to fly 163,000 light miles away. Not light years. Light miles away.
What does that
Don't know.
Translate
Don't know. That's what, I guess it's light years, that they call it light miles. They also put a helmet on him for the travel. They put a metal helmet on him that had like these wires and stuff coming out, and they put him in a recliner, but they strapped him in so that he wouldn't flail around while they were flying, which I found fascinating.
Wait, a light mile is not a standard unit, but it essentially refers to the distance that light travels in 1 mile of time, which is roughly equivalent to the time it takes light to travel 1 mile at its constant speed of 186,000 miles per second. Essentially, it's a way to describe a very small distance using the speed of light as a reference point. So how many light miles today?
3,000 light miles. You're looking it up. I can tell.
63,000 light miles is not okay, but it was for a distance of 163,000 times the distance light travels in 1 mile, which is essentially the distance to the large Magellanic Cloud, a satellite galaxy of the Milky Way. It's often stated to be around 163,000 light years away. So they went to the large Magellanic Cloud in the Milky Way.
Okay. Cool. That's where their planet was. So he went to their planet. When he saw the tower, the bright lights, he saw the people talking to them. When they brought him into the room, this is kind of sad. They lowered that. They did the exam on him, right? And it was a 4x8 sheet that lowered down in front of him. It was there for a couple seconds and went back up. So they scanned him. Then one of the other guys, not Ausso One, but one of the other aliens
that was on the trip with them.
That was on the trip with them said, "You're not what we want. We're going to take you back."
Right. He felt that. He felt that.
That was sad. You're not worthy to be with us. Now, Now,
I wouldn't
Higdon,
look at it as sad. I'd look at it as a positive thing.
so
Because
Higdon later said that the reason why he thinks they said that was because he had had a vasectomy.
Interesting. So they want to mate. They were looking for a manly man hunter hunting elk in the woods.
Yeah.
And they thought, we're going to find him an elk hunter and we're going to bring him back here and he's going to breed. You think, though, with all the technology that they'd be able to figure that out first? Hey, before we take him 163,000 light miles to our Milky Way galaxy, why don't we just check to see if he had a vasectomy first? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I gotcha. I thought they were going to use that hand thing, but they
Oh,
didn't.
the drill hand?
Yeah, the drill hand. And the other hand had nothing. There was no hand, just a wrist with one on one arm and then the probe hand on the other arm. Now,
You saw that you saw that
in the
a
photo.
report? In a
No,
photo.
the photo. Yeah, the photo.
Yeah, yeah.
The photo of him. Okay, so Ausso One came back and had a conversation with
Wait, when? After?
after the exam, after they said you're not worthy, we're taking you back. Ausso One
So
was
he
like, hey,
came down,
man,
sat down with him
yeah,
like a doctor
yeah,
and held his hand and listened.
Yeah, and he's like,
I
look,
wanna
let me
break
tell you
this
what's
to you.
going on. Right.
Yeah.
So he explained the pills.
All right, what are they?
Ausso One told him that they've been coming to Earth
4
because,
pills that he floated to him before they took off in the trip.
right, but he only took one.
He only took one.
Ausso One explained to him that they've been coming to Earth for many, many, many years, hunting fish, gathering fish and animals to feed their people because their planet is dying. And in one pill, they can sustain one of the aliens for 4 days. They take one pill, they're full for 4 days. It's like, remember Dexatrim? So it's like Dexatrim, right? It was a speed that you took that didn't make you hungry.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great way
Well,
to
he
lose
didn't
weight.
feel anything else, though. He didn't feel high or elated, right?
No,
It
just
was
full.
full.
Just full. I feel like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
man. The other thing that Ausso One said,
Those pills
He's-
would be perfect for those survivor shows. The
he
Alone.
examined the rifle, Higdon's rifle, and he said,
Who
I would
did?
like to, Ausso One.
Well, he examined his rifle. Okay.
He examined his rifle and he said, I would like to keep this, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. I guess because he'd go on a shooting spree.
This is what Higdon said?
This is what Higdon said. Okay, now, all this stuff kind of came out during Dr. Leo Sprinkle's.
Dr. Sprinkle.
Dr. Sprinkle Dr. Sprinkle was worked for the University of Wyoming, where he specialized in UFO abductions and talking to people. Now, here's what Sprinkle said. He said, what's interesting is that...
Wait, can we stop? We'll stop
yeah.
for a second.
Okay.
In 1974, why would there be a doctor that specialized in UFO abductions? Why was that a thing that a person would choose that to be their primary focus at that time?
I think this guy did like paranormal stuff and UFOs and cryptoids.
74, I mean, the hot time for all of this stuff was really in the mid-90s.
They were ahead of the times.
These are new stories. This is like, reportings that were happening that were unexplained, yes, but how would he build a business?
But organizations like MUFON have been around since 1969.
69, yeah.
1974. They were just getting into it.
Yes,
maybe he's a member of MUFON. I don't know.
Yeah.
He could be.
We have to look into that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
Sorry. So back, Dr. Sprinkle said what?
Dr. Sprinkle said that he wasn't really sure if he knew that Higdon believed what he saw. But
That's
he
why it
wasn't-
was phrased that way.
Yeah. He wasn't
came to the
sure
conclusion
because
they believed he believed that he believed what he saw.
yeah. And so he said that he has a hard time believing that these aliens would travel thousands of light years just to grab elk for food. He's like, I found that fascinating. The other thing he looked at was the drawing of the alien that Higdon did. And it looked like an Andorian from Star Trek. I don't know if you remember the Andorians. They had kind of like a light blue face with white hair, and they had two antennas.
I do remember them, yeah.
Okay. He
That's
said that that's what he got from the drawing, that it was Andorian. Now, here's something else that's fascinating. 2 weeks prior to the abduction, Higdon had a conversation with his wife, and he called UFO...
She didn't want him to go hunting.
No, because she knew what was going to happen, because Higdon had his alien wife. Sad. No, she said that 2 weeks prior, that Carl had said that if a ufonaut, that's what he called the alien beings, ufonaut. He was fascinated with UFOs. He said if a ufonaut asked him to come with him or was forcing him, he would do nothing and just go with them. He wouldn't fight back. So he had already made up his mind that, man, if I get abducted, I'm just going to go. I'm not going to be like, no.
He had this fantasy inclination already worked
in his head. Yeah. And then here's another. This is weird, though. In the same Medicine Bow National Forest, there were 2 missing persons that happened later on. A gentleman by the name of Charles Gustafson, 72 years old, went missing on October 10th, 2006. They never found him.
Wait, what's that have to do with it?
They think he was abducted. That's the thought process, is that he had been abducted. They took him. He didn't have a vasectomy.
So let's go back to the story of Higdon and all of this information that you're sharing. I love all the little details that you filled in here. What do you think? Do you think this is a mostly true alien story or not?
No, I think he took some bad Quaaludes or something and went up there and shit his pants and decided to wander out. And who knows, if his tuberculosis scars disappeared on their own, they could have. Maybe his body healed. I don't think it had anything to do with the aliens. I find it fascinating that he described perfectly like an Andorian, and then he told his wife weeks before he's abducted that if they took him, he's just going to go.
Okay, so Andrew, you think this is not mostly
made it
alien story?
No.
Okay.
Ausso One, come on.
All right. Well, that's great information, and I'm going to be interested to see what our audience thinks of this story, but it's my turn now, so let me weigh in. Here's where, and you just said it, here's where I struggle with whether this is true or not. The fact that his scars were healed, to me, in 74, that is a huge breakthrough. I think that is something that you can't dismiss that easily.
Could they have got the wrong x-ray?
Well, that's the thing. How do we confirm the validity of that even being the tuberculosis scars ever actually existing, or that he had tuberculosis? How are we supposed to do that? But if we don't speculate, let's just say that's the truth. Why would he lie about it? To me, they healed somehow, so there's something to it. Now you go back to Ausso One and the way he looked. Roddenberry, in my opinion, Star Trek creator, he to me is a futurist. He's an alien. I can't put it past someone like this guy to create a series like this and not know the truth about this type of fantasy that is actually truth. There may be, and I sound weird right now and bizarre about it and woo-woo, but I don't, there could have been truth in some of these aliens that he was creating, in a sense, right? We don't know that either. So I'm not gonna poo-poo on the whole similar looking alien type thing. I think in 74, that is such a different description of an alien than the grays that were typically being reported at that time, right? And then Higdon were to make this story up. Why would he say they took the elk? That's a detail why would you add that detail? To me, it's not something you would think to do. It doesn't make sense. So
they can take it for food.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I don't know why the aliens would take it. And
do you know how many pills you could get out of one elk?
True.
And that one pill can feed those people for 4 days, just one pill? 4 pills feeds them for 16 days?
Wait a minute, you're saying that they were taking the elk because they made the pills out of the elk?
Yeah, they were there. That's what Ausso One told them, that they would take fish and animals from Earth to feed their people because their lakes and stuff were dying.
No. So I didn't take that line as to understand that they were taking this stuff to create
they were taking the elks
food.
to eat them.
I thought they were doing it they were coming down and taking the fish and the stuff to feed their people, and then they created these pills. That's how I understood this. Then they created these pills
They
to
make
help.
the animals. They make the pills from the animals.
That wasn't very clear to me.
Food.
Yeah, but still, that's a fantastical story that I don't think Higdon, the hunter, was capable of thinking and making that up. That's all. I think that is this guy was in the wrong line of work. Instead of being a hunter, he should have been writing stories.
Science fiction stories.
Yeah. I mean, this is what my point.
The other thing too is, his wife wrote a book about his abduction.
Well, I definitely want to check it out.
It's on Amazon, by the way.
Here's the last part. For me, is the whole vasectomy thing makes sense too. Why they wouldn't want him, but that to me though, also
he had tuberculosis. I mean, why would they want him? if he had tuberculosis. Couldn't they, if they could cure his tuberculosis, couldn't they reverse his vasectomy?
But what is
Come on.
what is it? Let's go. They took him all the way up. Right. They couldn't untie his tubes. They couldn't untie his tubes.
With that thing?
With that sheet, that finger claw thing they got.
It was like a tube hand?
I mean, you bring up a good point, but I think that maybe Higdon was so hurt that they didn't take him out. You thought about this afterwards, that they didn't take him out.
Got so mad, so he made up all this stuff.
No, that he blamed his vasectomy.
I told you, Margaret.
Damn it. They wanted me, and you
Yeah.
made me get a vasectomy.
Who was getting vasectomies in the 70s, though?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the medical history of that, but that's a Dr. Sprinkle question.
Hello, Neil. It's Dr. Sprinkles. You asked me to come in.
Yeah, Dr. Sprinkle, what was the likelihood of people getting vasectomies back in 1974?
Back in 1974, the probability of a man in his early 40s not looking to have any more children receiving a vasectomy was 1 out of every 8 men.
1 out of every 8 men got a vasectomy.
Yes.
How many
Yes.
hunters got vasectomies?
Mostly those men were hunters. Because they were
Interesting.
hunters and so aggressive looking to go out into the world, they actually did that. Yes.
That's an interesting stat. I didn't realize it was mostly hunters.
Neil, is it? Thank you, Neil. I will head back to the university now. Hopefully there'll be another abduction happening, or possibly a vasectomy.
Well, you're very good at the vasectomies because the aliens couldn't untie them.
Well, that's what they call me. Snip, Dip, Leo.
Snip, nip, Leo. All right, so getting back to my story, the one other questionable thing for me, it throws a little doubt in my direction, is the truck. I don't understand the whole truck. Why would the aliens take the truck and move it and drop it in a ditch somewhere? That to me, that didn't happen. I think Higdon. Look, the other scenario side of this would be that Higdon got into a fight with his wife. She didn't want him to go hunting on that day, and he lied and he went hunting. And then he had to explain his whereabouts and probably maybe had to come up with some sort of fantastical story. And he crashed the truck. So he crashed the truck on his way to go hunting. That's why he is going to have to come up with some story, because he's going to have to explain this. Right. And then that all went down. So he just went hunting from whatever time it was for those 4 or 5 hours after he crashed the truck. And then he just said, well, I can't go home because I'll get in trouble. So I will just say I'm disoriented. We'll find somebody to get me help. And then, I'll put my gun over here and I'll smash a bullet and put it down here. And
he went through a lot just to
went through a
go
lot.
hunting.
But not only that, then he came up with this whole cube thing with Ausso One and the Elks and the Frozen in Terror family and the planet.
Well, I can tell you with what I read, it worked because his wife totally believed him and wrote a book about it.
Well, there you go. I mean, he saved his marriage just from this one incident, which I got to hand it to Higdon. But anyway, so if I weigh all this out and I lean towards the side of him making it up or it actually happening, I lean towards it actually happened. And again, though, the only thing that I also struggle with, and I always do in every one of our stories that we're telling, is what are the aliens gaining by finding this lone hunter in the fucking woods in Wyoming and, in this park? I don't know what they're gaining.
So you're saying this is mostly true?
Yes, that aside, my complaint aside, I'm saying that this is a mostly true alien story.
You just debunked your whole theory, and now you're like, it's true. But are you saying the mostly true part is that he disappeared for those hours, or the mostly true part is that he actually saw an alien?
So the mostly true part is that he was abducted by an alien.
Oh.
Because he can't. Who makes up elks in a cube? And the family, why was he so specific with the father and the teenage girls and then the young girl and then the teenage son?
Because he had kids himself. He's probably describing his family.
No, I don't think so. And very specific about the pill and it floating over. There's 4 of them. You only take one, and then
In a
taking the
cellophane
5
pack,
elks.
right? That Osso's mom gave him, that he had to get from his brothers.
Osso's the one who got in trouble when he got home.
How are you
brought
giving...
home a guy who had a vasectomy,
and you gave him one of our pills? Do you know how precious those are?
Fuck, go to your room, Ausso.
Asshole.
Yeah. So I think this is a mostly true alien story, and I'm sticking to it. I think that's what happened. I mean, yes, my other scenario that I explained happened, maybe could have happened. They got in a fight, that whole thing. But
That makes so much sense.
yeah. But there
And
was
the
that
fact-
he passed the lie detector test. He really, I mean, come on. He's not just going to do that. And
Euphonauts.
and his scars were healed. I'm sticking to that. This is a mostly true alien story, and I'm looking forward to our listeners. I would love your comments and what you guys think of this.
Please
mostly true
comment.
alien story.
Yes.
Well, that's it. Andrew, that's our episode of Mostly True Alien Stories. Let's make sure everybody you follow, you subscribe, and you tune in next week for another deep dive into this world of aliens that we
And-
love so much. And
Before we go, I'd like to personally thank Dr. Leo Sprinkle for being a guest on the show today.
that was a surprise guest.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was going to be here.
Yeah, Dr. Leo Sprinkle. Well, maybe we can get him back sometime. That'd be great.
I think so.
Yeah. Until then, Andrew, keep watching the skies and maybe avoid those hunting trips in Wyoming.
Right.
All
All right.
right. Nice job.
See you. Thanks. Bye.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about abductors of unknown objects.